In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at a classic drum machine. This is a drum machine called the Boss DR110, also known as the Dr. Rhythm. And basically, I have quite a long history with drum machines. I've been a musician for over 30 years now. And in that time, I've owned or borrowed or rented a variety of drum machines by a variety of manufacturers. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about one of the first ones that I used. And I actually borrowed this drum machine from my friend John. He owned one at the time. This would have been in around the mid-90s. I believe around 1994 is when I borrowed this drum machine. And I think I borrowed it from him for a few days and then gave it back to him. But in that time, I really enjoyed using it. Basically, to give a little history and a little bit of the details of this machine, the DR110 was released in 1983. It's 6-voice polyphonic. There are 6 sounds. You have bass drum, snare drum, open hi-hat, closed hi-hat, cymbal, and clap. And for patterns, you could have 4 banks of 8 patterns each. So basically, 2 of those banks would be preset and 2 would be user. For songs, the memory could hold 2 songs in total, and each song could have 128 bars each. And again, as I mentioned, for the memory, you had 16 preset patterns and 16 user. What I liked about this drum machine, it had a really good-sized LCD display with a grid showing all the notes in your current pattern. Everything was laid out very, very graphically, and you could very easily see every single element of your pattern, which was really cool, and it was one of the things I really loved about the DR110. You had a balance knob, which alters the kick, the snare, and the claps in relation to the other sounds. There was an accent knob, and this would adjust the amount of emphasis on accented steps. And then, of course, you had a volume knob to control the overall volume. There was a mono output. It was a 1/4 inch output, and you also had a headphone jack. And what was also interesting about the DR110 is there was a trigger signal socket, and that emitted a pulse for every accented step. So it was an early way of synchronizing. Basically, because of this pulse, you could synchronize the drum machine to other instruments. The patterns could be either 12 or 16 steps, so you could have 3/4 timing or 4/4 timing. And the thing about this drum machine, many of them, even though they're almost 40 years old, many of them are still in very good shape, because they came in a padded case, and you can see in the video, it came in a really neat little padded case that was quite protective and really did a good job in preserving aesthetics of the drum machine. And as I understand, many of them are still in very good condition because of this. My impressions of the drum machine, I quite liked it. I really liked the sounds. I liked the simplicity of it. It's definitely got that classic 80s sound. I didn't really care much for the bass drum. The bass drum sounded really weak to my ears. Maybe you could compensate for that with some EQ settings. But yeah, the bass sound was quite weak. But again, you're talking the early 80s, and I think the technology at that time, that was pretty much what could be produced. The open hi-hat was awesome. I really loved the open hi-hat. It had that classic sort of 808 quality, and the claps were great. The claps had that really crispy, really punchy quality to them that I really, really loved. In a moment, you're actually going to hear a demonstration of the DR110. Believe it or not, I actually dug out some of the recordings that I made way back in 1994 during the time that I had borrowed the drum machine from my friend John. So you'll hear some simple demonstrations and some simple recordings that I made way back when. As of the time that I made this video, I checked on eBay, and I did see a few of these listed for sale on eBay. And the prices seem to range between $150 to $250 US. Is it worth that much money? I would say, if you're really into classic 80s technology, if you love that classic 80s drum machine sound, it's probably well worth that. But make sure you're getting one that's still in really good working condition. So that's my overview of the Boss DR110. Thank you for watching. I hope you can join us again next time. Please, if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to our channel. I post new tech reviews all the time, and it would be great if you could join our family. Leave us a thumbs up, give us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again. We'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.